Welcome back to Booze and the Rocks. My name is David Edwards, and today I'm going to use some lemon, some Jack Daniels, and I'm going to make this, the Lynchburg Lemonade. But first, this. Alright, so let's get into this. Today I'm making the Lynchburg Lemonade, and I'm using the original Jack Daniels recipe that you can find on their website. I'll put a link down below for you. Now, this request comes to me by Mark. He's one of my subscribers, and he left me a Facebook message and asked me to make this recipe for him. I had never seen it, so of course I looked it up, right? And then I realized that, I'm getting back into Jack Daniels, and the last time I'd had Jack Daniels, of course, I made the Tennessee Bee, which I'll put up here. And during that time, I talked about when I was 18 and I drank way too much at a fire, ran through the corn. Anyways, I digress. But let's talk a little bit about Jack Daniels. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a small sip here and see if it tastes like it did when I was 18. Because I remember it being pretty horrendous by the end of the night. But maybe that could just be me. Probably is just me, because that's what happens when you have that one alcohol that you have terrible, terrible stories about and hatred for it. Smells okay. Doesn't smell too strong. I get a small hint of caramel. Yep, that's Jack Daniels. It's not as strong as I remember it. Mind you, it is one of the first alcohols that I ever tried. Nowhere near as bad as the iced tea mix I made when I talked about the first Long Island iced tea I made. I'll put that up there. So Jack Daniels, interestingly enough, it says on the label that it was founded in 1866. However, that's not true. The distillery was opened in 1875 after Jack Daniel received his inheritance. In 1866 is when Jack Daniel met Nathan Nearest Green, who taught him the art of whiskey distilling. Now, Nathan Green, of course, was a slave at the time, and after he was emancipated, he worked with Jack Daniels to help continue this legacy and kept on going. And there is a new whiskey called Uncle Nearest that's out now because of this. And it's truly an interesting story that one of the originators that helped create this brand of whiskey is now available. Having said that, anyways, they continued distilling until 1910 when Prohibition happened to come up in Tennessee, and they didn't get licensed again until 1937. After a brief hiatus, there was the war, so they stopped distilling during that time. And in the 40s, I'm not sure if it's 46 or 48, I'll double check that for you, they started distilling again. Their claim to fame, of course, is being charcoal distilling. Also, one of their big things for their taste is that the fact that they use natural spring limestone water. So that's pretty cool. So let's get into making the lemonade part first. So you need a bunch of lemons. Now, on average, you're going to get about 1.5 ounces per lemon, depending. So we're going to make a lot of these, and I'm going to speed this up for you. But first, while I've cut this, I'm just going to cut a couple of very small wheels that I want to use for the garnish. And now I'm going to, of course, begin creating and squeezing lemons for the next little while. So I'll be right back. Holy cow. Look at that. I now have 1 cup or 8 ounces of lemon juice. Now, 8 ounces is approximately 240 milliliters. And this creates an awful lot of lemon rind waste. Now, one of the things you can do is you can cook this in a little bit of water, and you can create a little bit of syrup and some infusions to go with some of your other cocktails. So don't just waste it for the sake of wasting it. Yep, it looks funny. I just want to clean up, and you should always clean your kitchen and your bar as you work. That way you don't have a mess. So of course the first thing we need is 4 cups of water. 4 cups is, of course, 32 ounces and 960 milliliters. It's actually probably closer to 900. 40, but, and we also need some simple syrup. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour that in here. Not bad so far. We need now an 8 ounces of simple syrup, or 1 cup. So if you want to break it down, that is 4 ounces of sugar and 4 ounces of water, of course, cooked until just enough to actually dissolve, and that'll give you your simple syrup. And one of the reasons why you want to use a simple syrup, and we can do this, is this will allow us to remove the grittiness directly from it, so you don't get that sugary feel, that sugary, you're gonna have the sweetness and the taste, but you won't have that feel. So now we have a lemonade, and I've got this fancy little thing here. I'll just put that on here. You can put that in the fridge when you're done. Oops. Just give that a shake for you. And of course, this is a build in the glass cocktail. We're going to use a Collins glass. You can use whatever glass you want because you can put whatever amounts you want in here. But I am sticking to the original recipe. So the first thing we need, of course, is some ice. The next thing we need is some Jack Daniels. We need 1.5 ounces or 45 mils of the Jack Daniels Tennessee whiskey. Interesting thing about Tennessee whiskey, a lot of people consider it a bourbon, even though it's not a bourbon. And when it is shipped out to Canada, in accordance with the NAFTA, which is the North American Free Trade Act, it's considered and shipped as if it is bourbon. Now, the next thing we need is 1/2 ounce of a triple sec. You could use whatever triple sec you work. I'm going to use this one. It's a little bit sweeter. It's just a standard triple sec. And 1/2 ounce works out to 15 milliliters. Nice, simple, easy. And of course, what you don't realize is we still need 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. Now I'm following the original recipe in this part here. Looks pretty sweet. And now we're going to top this with lemonade. Some of the recipes I've seen call for a lemon lime soda, but on the Jack Daniel's website, we use lemonade. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a bit of a stir with the back of my spoon. And I'm going to use this. I'm going to slide this right in here so we have ourselves a nice looking little garnish right here. And maybe another one right here. We're just, you know, prettying up our very own glass here. Okay, and darn it, I've spilled it. Alcohol abuse. I'm very, very upset. But this is a gorgeous looking lemonade. I'm going to use my fancy bendy straw here, and let's see how it tastes. Oh, that is really good. This is really easy to drink. You would think that the whiskey would come through more and it'd be sharper, but it's not. The lemonade is not super mouth-watering, puckering. It's really, really good. This is an excellent drink for spring, summer, fall, heck, even in the winter. Just, you know, if you can get somebody to garnish it nicely for you and it looks pretty. Oh yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the ingredients for how to make the lemonade and the Lynchburg Lemonade both in the description down below, and the method of how to make both. If this is your first time to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell notification. And if you don't like an awesome lemonade on a hot day, hit the thumbs down button twice. And we'll see you next time. So there's two parts to this, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Jack Daniels first. Now, a little bit about Jack Daniels. I left